Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Hermit Skies. You are probably getting sick of me talking about my skiing vacation, right? Now, at the end of the last episode, I said that I'd be recording this one after I got back and I'd done some work around the base, as we're going to be doing a live stream. In fact, that live stream would have been done, and I believe my theory is true about this area. We've just seen that a zombie has spawned inside of the slime juice and gone over to there. And I've actually left these farms running. Oh, I opened a loot bag. Well, I was about to say my sounds were turned off, but this thing has a sound muffler. Anyway, the reason that these have been running is because we are farming essence from it for mystical agriculture, and I thought if I'm going away for 6 days, wouldn't it be a great idea to have these farms set up and running around the clock before I go? If you take a look at the contents of my inventory, you can probably tell I've been doing a little bit of something somewhere and getting these farms up and running, and I've actually decided to put this in an entirely different area and chunk load it, which I think is something we have to do with future projects. So we will have a mystical agriculture section of our base, but it will teleport us somewhere else, and that's why we made the dimensional transceivers last episode, so we can transfer power across dimensions. So I've been hard at work over here. We had about 10k essence stored up in total. That's this stuff right here, and using some infusion crystals, which we have all of the things we need to make those. We've been going around and crafting this stuff up, making crafting seeds, making the seeds to grow stuff as well. If you take a look at this right here, you can see that I've been doing a lot of crafting, and where I've been growing the stuff, I've been able to actually take us all the way up to level 6 seeds. Okay, so there is this mod in this pack called Mystical Aggreditions. I think I'm saying that correctly. And what it does is it adds this 6th level Insanium essence on top of the top tier, which was Supremium essence, and that includes seeds for that as well, which you can grow in the ground. So we are producing an absolute insane amount of essence over at this other place, and I'm pretty sure it's going to fill up before we're done here. So anyway, what I would like to do now is craft this type of crystal right here, the Master Infusion Crystal. Now, where is it over here? There it is. This thing costs a Terra Steel ingot, which means Britannia, which I am desperately avoiding. So what we're going to do is grab our coins, and we're going to go over to the World's Mart, and we're going to, buy a Terra Steel ingot. This is one of my favourite places on the server. So I've got a stack of these ingots. We only need one, but we can buy them by the stack. We can also buy prismarine shards and prismarine crystals. Now, I believe it is the shards that you get from Britannia, and I am really bad at Britannia, but I think this is a very early, simple thing to do. Nether quartz is what you can convert into prismarine shards, right? And then the crystals you can get by pulverizing the prismarine shards. So technically I could buy 9 stacks of that, but since they're the same price, I might as well get 4 and 5, and that allows us to craft sea lanterns, which are going to be really, really helpful for us. Right, so in total, I believe I brought 10 of these, right? So let's just pop that down like so. Bam! Yes, we have brought 10 stacks of items, and into the chest they go. Now this is exciting because we have a stack of sea lanterns, and they are a key ingredient in making growth crystals, which are going to make our crops grow even faster. This stuff requires dirty glass. I am apparently out of soul sand. That is crazy. Have I left my sieves running around the clock? It looks like I have, so it's probably exported all of my soul sand into there. So I'm going to have to take a quick trip into the Nether. Look at that insane amount of quartz. So I was right, I'd accidentally sieved all of it as I'd made a large stockpile. And I was just thinking there's something here that might throttle us a little bit. These compressed bone blocks. We need 2 stacks of those, and we've got them. Now if I type in skeleton, you can see we've got a lot of skeleton skulls and a lot of bones as well. I'm a little mystified as to how I've got so many of those resources, but I think it's this thing over here. I think this little space where they can spawn in the slime, they've just been spawning there over time, going into here, and that's actually enough of a mob farm to give us a crazy amount of bones. And you saw there the tree group. I've had quite a few comments about this. This farm is great. It just works around the clock, even though it's slow time passes by, we've got a crazy amount of oak in here and loads of apples as well. So that sorts me out for my wood and my food, very good. But now we can craft a stack of these. Unbelievable. Let's chuck all of the things into there, and these are going to be super useful. Right, it's time to head over to the farm. No, it's not. We need one more thing before we go. Yes, one of these tier 3 crafters. Excellent. Oh, and of course we need to make that crystal as well. Right, we can craft this stuff up just like this. If you've not seen it before, I thought I'd show you. This is how you make the different tiers of essence, and bam. Didn't do that correctly, did I? There we go, there's our 4 tiers. Now we can make this, and apparently we're missing one crystal. There it is, we have our Master Infusion Stone. Now this thing will do what you just saw, however, it will be able to do it without losing any durability, which means you can use it in auto crafting. So now it's time for us to head over to the farm. I build it off in this direction. If you look at the mini-map in the top right, the base will go off of our screen. Then we will go forwards a few more blocks, and then it will come into view. And it is night time at the moment, and I believe that means that mobs can spawn on this thing. Yeah, because it's not lit up. That is slightly worrying, but now that we're close to it, that's good enough. This thing is full up. Why are you so full? What's going wrong here? Your output. Oh, that's interesting. Has that one not been configured to send correctly? Have I been wasting loads of materials over here? Let's have a look. It is sent to push downwards, and the dimensional transceiver should have a channel. I probably missed that. Actually, it seems that we have a ridiculous amount of tier 5 seeds in here. Why do I have tier 5s? These are all tier 6 that have been planted down. At least they should be. I guess I'll have to double check that. So over here is how I've managed to grow loads and loads of this essence. Basically, I started off with a small farm. We had a farming station. I made this paper mattock. If you remember our tree farming episode, I show you how to make these. They are unbreakable, so that works as the hoe. These things have been set up to be locked. They push their items down to this thing below, which is getting the power to give to the farming station, and it sends these items as well. It looks like it might be having a little bit of trouble with that at the moment, as this thing has produced a heck of a lot of stuff. Loads and loads of level 6 seeds and tons of this essence stuff. But I'm about to add growth crystals to this, okay? Now we have a growth crystal there and a tier 2 one, which we've gotten from loot chests, and that's helped this stuff grow really fast. But now with 64 of these things are absolutely going to be pumping it out while I'm away. So what we need to do is set up a better storage solution. The problem with this is that these drawers are all going to fill up really quickly. So if we use this Master Infusion Crystal inside of a crafter, what we can do is have it basically bring us all the way up to the top tier, right? It can craft all the way up to that, and that's the best way of storing loads and loads of this stuff. Oh, and one more thing. As always, if you're playing along, I like to explain everything, don't I? This is fertile dirt right here. This stuff needs hoeing, but it doesn't need a water source. And that is not correct. Let's press R again for recipe. This is the recipe. So again, from our mob farm, we got on bone meal and rotted flesh. And the dirt is easy to farm in barrels as well. So that's how I crafted up loads of that stuff. So the reason this was backed up is because by mistake I managed to use my tier 5 seeds and not my tier 6 ones, and I've been storing tier 6 seeds down here but not tier 5, so it had so much of it in the system that it caused all of that to back up. So what we're going to do is replace this with tier 6. Now depending on what tier it is, it's going to produce more of the essence that you saw down below, so that's why we farm all of these floors with tier 6. Turns out those growth crystals emit light, so not only are they speeding up the growth of all of these crops, they're lighting it up as well, which is fantastic. This down here is glowstone, by the way, and that is a chunk loader, so this area stays loaded around the clock. It is also positioned in the middle of a chunk, so it's nice and efficient. And now over here I've set up a crafter to use that crafting crystal to create this stuff over here. We have one piece of it. It is insanely expensive, but we have loads of this stuff stashed away, so we will be able to craft a bit of it. But the idea is to store it all as this stuff, because then we'll be able to store a crazy amount of it. Now what I need to do at the moment is actually get one of each piece of this, but as you can see I've set it up to automatically craft this stuff. So if I put in 4 pieces of that, it will make this tier right here, and like I said, need to keep it all in my inventory at the moment. So the way these are set up over here on this side, we have the recipe, and it's going to return all of the ingredients to this internal bit right here. So we can pump in this level essence and it'll automatically start crafting stuff all the way up to the different tiers. Now the final one is slightly different as it goes to the external. However, it is the external with this C thing right here, meaning that it'll put the master infusion crystal back into this area. And now that I've got one of each essence here and the crystal, what we're going to do is fill the rest up with sticks, and then we're going to click on R so it remembers the layout. And this is going to essentially create a filter over here for each of those different items. So if I take them out again, they're the only ones that can go into those slots, right? So if I try and click this stuff in, it has to go in one at a time, which may actually slow down the crafting process a little bit. In fact, we can put that into fast mode as well, so it's even faster. But the trick now would be to start pumping this stuff in here. Have I set up an extract channel? I haven't. So let's go for insert on green, and we'll extract on something different. We'll make it brown over here. We'll set these ones to be brown as well. So then it'll be able to move those into there. What we're also going to do is extract from here as well. So we're now going to move all of the essence I've stored up into this thing. And I believe I've got some speed upgrades. Yep, so we can make this process even faster. Okay, so now that's going to go into there, and look at this, it is going crazy with the crafting. I can't help but feel we've actually slowed it down a little bit by doing that, but it'll do its job overall, won't it? And there we go, we're producing Insanium essence. We're up to 3 already, and I pumped this thing full of upgrades, so we've got 5 of those, yep, to hold all of that. And then this second one right here has a void upgrade. I don't think we're going to fill all of these up, but if it does, it can overflow into here, and it will get voided there as well. So we should give that one a higher priority, and when it's filled up, they'll go into this one. But like I said, I doubt we're going to fill those up. It'll take a very long time to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in the base. I'm back from a vacation. And there is a live stream that you can go and watch on my second channel. There'll be a link to it in the description box down below. I'll give you the rundown on what we got up to. We did some lag busting. We focused on tidying up this area around here and removing as many torches from this outside area as we could. And also you'll see that all of our items are gone. No, actually they're in this concealment key right here. So my FPS is written on the screen, and occasionally this area just goes super shaky. And I was told it might be because of these things, right? So if I do this, so a little bit laggy at the moment. Will the FPS go back up? That's a very, well, there it is right there. Okay, so that's one lag issue, possibly. Back to 120. No, they do clearly cause a problem, right? So let's whack that, and are we back up? We are. Okay, so they do hit the FPS, but the thing that makes this area shudder every now and then, I don't know what it is. And I've been going around and removing lots and lots of conduit networks. There used to be power conduits going all the way across here, and now what you'll see is that there are these dimensional transceivers everywhere. And basically what I've gone and done is put one over here and put a whole bunch of channels into it, right? And in the future, what we're going to do is monitor these channels for the amount of power that they're consuming, and create a cool little setup where we can go and see how much the various parts of our base consume in power. But as of right now, I've gone around this floor, so let's have a swing around. You'll notice there's some lights hidden in certain places, like on the floor over here, which was something I wanted to avoid, but I wasn't sure how else to make light come from around here. However, maybe I could have hid it inside of this thing. You know, I might revisit that another time, especially if we do another live stream. Over here, just kind of added in some extra blocks. Apparently I missed a torch. Let's press F7. There you go, there's your little X's, and that's good. We are still absolutely fine, which is awesome. So I've added in these textures over here instead of the redstone, not redstone lamps, just the blaze lamps, and they really fit in with the other texture, so that's looking super cool. We got nether brick over the front here. This bit's now got some obsidian, no sorry, that's void stone in front of it. Got some sky stone, which is a material we get from this dimension, so trying to link things together a little bit. And there's a sneaky little light over the back here. I seem to have forgotten that I put glowstone directly above it. Let's actually remove that light. There we go. Obsidian down here, and then seared bricks coming around the side. Just trying to tidy things up and remove as many of the torches as we can. Now, as well as that, I also crafted another stack of dimensional transceivers in the live stream. And I wish I could show you this right now, but there is a little bit of magic going on around here. So there's our other stack of dimensional transceivers. It is super simple to do this stuff. And right here, what you'll see is that there is an actual liquid conduit going through here, right? And if I could, oh that's right, you've got to remove this in order to be able to click into that space. If I click there, you'll see that on the liquid one we are inserting and we are extracting from here. Now this requires the player to give it XP, however it will take it automatically through that fluid pipe right there, which is fantastic, right? And it actually works. It means you can entirely automate anything with this right here just using this item buffer behind it, which has push and pull. So those are all the things that I got up to in the stream, as well as opening a few loot chests that I had here. And the rewards that we got were actually really good. We got some super rares, some mining AoE, some draconic cores, and a growth crystal tier 3. Well, you know what we're going to do with that. The other thing I got was the super rare rewards, and if I'd have got that sooner, that would have been great, because we spent ages crafting all of those up. Well, speaking of crafting, what I need to do next is something from RF Tools. I need to make the matter transporter, is it? Transmitter and the matter receiver, and we're going to use that to get over to our mystical agriculture farm. So when it comes to aesthetics, as you can clearly see, I like to pick out a section on one of the floors and dedicate it to something, and I wanted to do that with mystical agriculture, but at the moment I'm not sure what exactly it is we're going to display and put here. And also these teleporter blocks are kind of clunky. I'm not really sure how to make them look interesting. So anyway, let's go through how we set this up. We got the matter transmitter, the dialing device, and the receiver. All of these things easily craftable now that we're farming ender pearls, so no problems there. I powered them with some conduits down below, and the way that I've set this up is the transmitter has the name base to mystical, so where we are and where our destination is, and it has T for transmitter. And the receiver works the other way around. It says where we're coming from, so mystical to base and R for receiver. And this means when we look in the dialing device, the logic is pretty straightforward. We do the base to mystical, and then the same name with the receiver, which is over in the mystical agriculture area, is this bit right here. So we select both, we click dial, and the connection has been made. Now the other thing that you need to do over here is add your player name. Like I typed in Asuma, I clicked on add, and I was put into this list, and that's because it's on private mode. I've also hidden the beam as well. You see you get this beam, which I think is kind of ugly if it isn't positioned correctly, so I've put that on hide for now. And teleporting is really quick. You just walk onto it and bam, you're over here. So once again, we got the same setup. You'll see the names are the other way around. So this one is base, mystical to base, and then that's the receiver we looked at a moment ago. So that's how that setup works. This is temporary. It'll probably get moved, and I'm sure you're itching to see how much of this stuff we've got. And there it is, 9,000 of the over 9,000 peeps. We got over 9,000. Amazing timing. And this could have been a lot more because the system actually got backed up. There isn't a space for tier 5 seeds in here. And apparently when planting this down, on a couple of floors I left behind some tier 5 seeds, or my theory is that actually when you're placing down the seeds, it likes to give you new things from your inventory. It pops into the same space because it's modded, and I think it actually gave me the wrong tier seeds. So I ended up placing it on a couple of floors and they got locked up, which means it could have had a little bit more, but probably not a crazy amount. Maybe 1,000 more over those days, but anyway, we got 9,000. That's absolutely incredible. And what we're going to do now is actually take apart this system and move it back into our base, because we're going to be dealing with the items over there. So in order to move these drawers, we need some packing tape. If we give this thing a slap with that, you'll see that it gets this cross on it. It means that we can pick this thing up with all of the items intact, because the last thing we want them doing right now is dropping out into the void, right? That would be disastrous. Now, when we opened those loot chests on my live stream, I got a tier 3 growth crystal. This thing checks 10 blocks up or 10 blocks down. I don't know if it like picks one direction and continues checking that way, or if it just goes both up and down and it was worded poorly. But either way, we're going to try and put this in the very middle of our farm, and it means the whole thing should run just a teeny tiny bit faster, which is pretty cool. And eventually we'll start farming some other stuff over here as well. But right now what we want to do is go back to the base. I was about to type /home, but actually we'll use our... I'm standing on the wrong bit. We'll use our transmitter and receiver, and we've made it back over here. Fantastic, right? Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to rip out these blocks here, and we're going to create some frame drawers to go over here. In fact, what I need to do quickly is throw down these 2 drawers. There we go. I need to take out a bunch of this stuff, and we're going to craft 6 different blocks. We're going to make each of the 6 different colors. So if I do that, there we go. We've got the Insanium block. I just realized something. There might be quests for this. Well, there are quests for furnaces, for ingots, and for apples, and I might as well claim that while I remember. And also the watering cans. So I might go and do all of that in a moment, off camera of course, because crafting ain't too fun, but we're going to do a little bit more crafting right now. So if I do this, I can turn this stuff into the one below, which is fantastic. And with that, we can make yet another block. So we're going to end up making one of each type of block, basically. And so over here on our framing table, I have prepared for us to do this. Except I can't see it. Is it really the opposite side, the side that I can't see? I am very glad that I checked because I had framed trim and not framed drawers. So these are drawers like we've seen many times before, but this time what we're doing is we're giving each one its own color because it's going to store all the different types of Supremium. And of course we've got a ridiculous amount of the top one already. So what we're going to do with these drawers is add them to the ones that we already have. But we had a little bit of a problem if you remember. This used to be bigger, but the items couldn't go all the way to the drawers at the back. And that's because there is a range from the controller that it can see all the different drawers. Well, after I did that, many of you informed me that a controller slave's purpose is to extend that range. So that is exactly what we're going to do, as you can imagine. So over here in this space, I want to have all of the different types stored right here, and it's going to look extremely cool because we've used the textures that match the things that we're going to store. So we can put this one in here. In fact, having all of this to hand is really good because the next thing I'm going to do is lock all of these drawers and quantify them, and they're going to have the right amount in them as well. Now we disabled the ability to see what's in the drawers over here, didn't we? We shrouded them, as it says at the top. I'm not going to do that with these ones. I want these ones to be on display because they look absolutely awesome. So over here we've got some framed drawers. We're going to have blocks across the side here. So I think the way that we should do this is to simply get some oak trim going across like this, and then I think we're going to put our slave right there, and hopefully that'll do the trick. Now the thing is, all I got to do is open this thing up and go to Mystical Agriculture, and we should see it there. Let's cross our fingers and try and type correctly. Yes, it is all there. The Insanium essence is in that drawer. If I take it out, it'll no longer be there because it wasn't locked. Excellent. Okay, so that works. One of the things I've obviously got to do is move all of this stuff into there. Now before we do that, we need to set up this system so that it'll take the essence from our farm, it'll craft all of this stuff, fill up that drawer, and then it will take the excess stuff and it will fill up the next one. When that one's filled up, it'll start crafting this one and that one and this one all the way up to purple. And then once we've got loads of it, what we'll do is we'll steadily add upgrades into the drawers. However, no void upgrades until we reach the last one. So the idea is that we can store the maximum amount of each type in a drawer over time. A very long time, might I add you. But around the back here, the network is pretty simple to set up. So we've got our dimensional transceiver. It is going to push both upwards and below. And it's not actually pushing downwards, which I find slightly alarming as I set this up a moment ago, and that I need to zap into my inventory for a second. So this thing acts like a filter, of course. The only items that get pushed up there are those ones, and then pushing downwards is this stuff. Now what I've gone and done is changed all of the recipes that we set up earlier and put them on external crafting. They used to be on internal, now they're on external crafting, meaning the output will go over here. So on the side of this, now I realise why I didn't have it set up like that. We're not supposed to do that, and again I've got to take those out because we're using this conduit right here. This is going to extract the items and it's going to put them over here with priority insert 1. So when this drawer is filled up, like it is, it's then going to look for the next priority place, which is going to be this one down here, insert 0. So that's how this essence gets into there. Now this also needs to be set to extract as well, and then the whole thing will start going. So now it's going to extract out this stuff, and it's going to put it into the drawer at the front because that one has priority 1. And then when this fills up, it needs to go somewhere else. That place is this little drawer right here. This stores the 4 different types in the middle. It has a storage downgrade, meaning it's going to store a very small amount in there, although anything that ends up in there is going to get extracted at this point and inserted back into the crafter. So this stuff will come into these slots and it will start getting crafted up to the next tier. Now, if it hasn't made sense what's going on here, basically we are kind of running things through a loop and we're prioritizing these places right here to store the different essence. So we're going to wait here for a moment so you can see it in action. And I'm going to sleep in a bed so that thunder stops. Ah, look at this. I can get it to go again simply by taking a stack out. So now that one is ticking up there, right? Let's take some out. It will fill back up again. And then this one over here should start ticking up. There it goes. Excellent. So if I do that and then that, you'll see this one fills up and then that one starts filling up and then the next one. Yeah, that is a much better way of demonstrating this actually. So again, it is going to look for these places first because it has priority 1 and this one second. So once it's filled up, it comes down here and this will move whatever items are filled up across into this space. Now I can actually see a problem with this, which is that is filling up very quickly and I need to craft some more of these speed upgrades at the moment as I've only got a few to juggle between these different setups. So if we put that in there, it should be able to pull them out a little bit faster and then it will start crafting the next type a little bit faster as well. But that is the system. It's fantastic, right? We developed this on a live stream and it's good to implement it here in the world as well. This is indeed a wonderful system, and so that things don't back up, we're going to add a void upgrade on the last one. So now it'll craft its way up to Insanium essence, leaving 2048 of each of these behind. But eventually what we'll do over time, like I said, is add storage upgrades to each of these. I'm going to start off with that one first, so now we'll see that one tick up and that one will fill up before it starts crafting any of the next stuff. But that is the system. It is fantastic and it's going to help us get going in this mod as we're going to start, or sorry, we're going to store all the different types of essence inside our storage system. Now, a moment ago I did talk about doing all of the crafting stuff for it, but I'm actually going to do that in between episodes. So if we look at this thing right here, there is a whole bunch of stuff that I could start crafting using the essence, and that'll give us a whole bunch of different loot chests to open in the next episode. So that's what we're going to do in that one. We're going to be opening loads of those at the very beginning. But this is where I'm going to wrap this one up. It's taken me a lot of time to get to this point, and this little thing right here is superb. I like it. Let me know what you think of it with a comment down below. And if you enjoyed the episode, leave a like. As always, thank you for support on this series, and I'll see you in the next episode of Hermit Skies. So ciao for now. Bye-bye.